This is the Female Founder Show with host and entrepreneur Bridget Fitzpatrick, exclusively on ASBN.
Hello everyone and welcome to the Female Founder Show. Today's guest is Trisha Addicks, founder and CEO of It's All Greek to Me and the author of The Rush Bible. What began as just helping a few friends prepare their daughters for sorority recruitment has grown into a company that serves families across the country and helped create an entirely new industry. Today we're talking about entrepreneurship, building trust, and what it takes to turn experience into a successful business. Trisha, welcome to the show. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm happy to be here.
I would love to start from the beginning. So you are helping families. What was the moment that clicked with you when you're just helping families to the moment that you thought you could turn this into a business?
So like you said, I did it for years for friends' daughters, and it was very informal, very much like, oh, hey, I'll help you with your resume or whatever. And then in 2017, I had an aha moment, and I was like, I need to do this with the real research because I wanted to make sure that I didn't miss anything and that I was giving them all the tools. That's what made me start my business.
Yeah. So when you were starting the business, there was nothing else out there like that, correct? So
well, there were people like who did it in Texas. There used to be a thing, and sometimes people think there still are, they would do packets, like help them put together their resumes with bows on it and send it into the sorority houses. And there were people who would do a fraction of what we do for schools like in Texas, or maybe a Memphis person would do it for Ole Miss. But there was nobody who was doing everything, taking care of everything soup to nuts from beginning to end, including working on confidence building and communication skills. That was what I created.
That is huge because these girls going into college need that probably more than they need recruitment into the sorority, I'm sure, because of all that they go through their first time out away from their parents and their little bubbles, so to speak, and that is really a huge help to so many of them, I'm sure.
And it's such a big transition from high school to college, and being able to navigate that is so important, and to have the skills to do that, which also translates into, you know, when you're applying for internships and jobs, you need those skills.
Yeah. So I would love to talk about a little bit of the process that's involved. I'm sure you have a team now helping you. Was there a moment when you realized, okay, I can't do all of this by myself anymore, I need help? What was that moment like?
So it was word of mouth for many years, obviously before I started the business, but then for I think 4 years I did it by myself, and it just got to be too much time-wise, and it's a very stressful week. And so I was working with the daughters, but then also the parents were calling me at all hours. And since I was doing any school, it was sometimes for 2 months that I was up all the time working with these clients and their parents. And so I was like, okay, I need help.
Yeah.
So,
what do you think is the biggest pain point for these young women when they're trying to rush for a sorority?
The biggest pain point, I think, is the comparison game. And their social media, they're looking at their friends on social media at other schools, or they're just looking at social media in general, and they're comparing themselves. But as we know, social media isn't a clear picture.
Right.
And so it's really hard to do. And during Rush itself, you know, you might hear people screaming, they're so excited, and then you didn't get asked back to a house that you want. So it's really hard to not compare.
And part of the reason that you started doing this is because you actually had that experience, right?
I did. I went through Rush my freshman year at the University of Georgia, and I did not get in a sorority, and I was devastated. I was in a new state, and my friends that went through Rush with me did get in a sorority, and so it was really, really hard. And that's the motivation, that's my why, that's why I do this.
Yeah, nice.
So that doesn't happen to other people.
Very nice, yes. I'm sure you are making a lot of women very happy with that, helping them do that. So I also want to talk about, there were the packets, and people were doing this across the country, but not to the level that you're doing it. Really hand-holding from getting them into the sorority to, like you said, to the confidence and all of that, that really wasn't being done before. You really are a category creator in this sense. And I know what that's like. I did that with my husband, with another company of ours, CBT News, which 13 years ago, there was nothing like it out there. So I know the difficulty of starting a business, but then starting a business that you really have to educate your clients on because they don't know it doesn't exist. Talk to us about that and what that was like.
So it was really important to me that people understand when you're starting a business, first off, you have to have the passion. You have to have, like I just said, the why. If I hadn't had the why, I mean, it's a lot of work and it's daunting, but I really believe that anybody who wants to start a business, if they have a passion and an idea, there are the tools out there to research and figure out how to do it. So that's the important thing, is to do your research, in my opinion.
Yeah. Was there ever a time when you felt like you wanted to quit? Multiple?
Yes. I mean, like I said, it's a very emotionally charged thing. And parents, this is the first time that they don't have control over their daughter's actions and what's happening to them. And a lot of times it's the first time that they're not physically with their kids. And so with that comes a lot of angst. And that's hard to be in charge of that, basically, for their daughters. And this, I'm the person that they're turning to when they're having the stress.
Right. And you probably do take somewhat of a mother role with these young women, I'm sure, too. So, and they realize that. So like, okay, you've got this, you've got them, right?
Right, exactly.
No pressure, right?
No, none at all.
So you were talking about social media with the girls, but you have a strong social media presence as well. Talk to us about how that's helped your business.
Well, I think social media is everything now. And I do have people who, when they become our clients, they're like, well, we don't let our daughter have Instagram in our house. And I think for anything, social media is what you make of it. And you have complete control over what is on your social media. So it's a really important tool, and one that I use to make sure that people understand my motivation and understand where we're going with this.
Yeah, for sure. Are there any other tools specifically that you use to help your business grow?
Well, still word of mouth,
Yeah.
social media, and I really think it's important to talk to people one-on-one as much as possible. I think everything is about connections.
Yeah.
And so connecting with people all over and just talking to people.
Yeah. Now, because you were really the original and you have become an authority in this space, so you have written the Rush Bible. Let's talk about that. What are your readers getting from the Rush Bible?
So our business is expensive. Our services are expensive. It's a lot of hours, and I want people to get what we provide to our clients for the price of a book instead of, so I want it to be available for everyone. And what readers will get from this book is not only exactly what recruitment is, exactly what they need to be doing, but also give them a chance to reflect on what makes them unique, so then they can show that when they go through Rush.
For sure. And you were published by Simon & Schuster.
Yes.
I mean, what a powerhouse.
Yes.
Talk to us about that experience. I'm sure that has really helped get this out even,
So
exponentially.
it's really cool. I had an agent who was not the right agent for me for a while, and he said, you should write a book about life lessons. And while there are a ton of life lessons in there, that was not the route. So I got a different agent, and she said, write what you know. You're the expert. You're the one who can write this book. So I did that, and when she took it out to publishers, all the major publishers bid on it. It was a bidding war, it was an auction. And I think the lesson from that is, and what I tell people who also want to write books, is write what you know and stay in your lane. Don't go too broad, because like I said, there are life lessons in there. But when I leaned into what I was an expert in, that's what really resonated with these publishers. And Simon & Schuster is a dream come true.
Yeah.
There is just, and they've been so supportive, and they really like the book.
Good. Congratulations on that, by the way. That is really exciting. And I know it's turned into even more than that. You've been on Inside Edition, you've been on Fox and Friends, and so many others. Talk to us about that process and what that's been like.
So it's all a learning. It's so cool to be my age and having these experiences. I'm made cover of Wall Street Journal. All this cool stuff that's happening that I could have never imagined when I was just helping daughters go through Rush. But it's also super cool. I'm learning something every single day that I would have never thought that this would be my world.
Yeah. And now you get to spread the message of what you do to help people. Talk to us about what your team looks like. And it's not just you anymore. Do you have other, do you call them coaches or counselors?
So yes,
under
I
you?
have 2 co-directors that run my company. It's all Greek to me. And then it varies based on the year, but around 28 who I call mentors.
Okay, nice. Who
work directly with the clients. And the mentors are between the ages of 23 and 30. And they were very active in their sororities and or Panhellenic on their councils, on their campus. So they are the ones who work directly with the clients.
That's great. That is really great. I would love to talk about some other exciting news that you have coming out. And well, it's been talked about, but you have a series coming out.
I do.
Talk to us about that.
So that was another cool thing.
Yeah.
So my book was purchased, the media rights to my book were purchased, and we are doing a fiction, so it's not a reality show, based on my book and the stories that are in there. There's some really good stories, but there are also a lot of stories that aren't in the book. And yes, so Legendary Entertainment and Eva Longoria's company Hyphenate bought the media rights to my book, and we're working on a series.
Do you have a time when that's going to be coming out? Or?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
We're still working with finding a writer, and then we'll attach some actresses and actors. And so the timeline is just when it's right, but we're working on it actively now.
Yeah. Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
That's really exciting. Lots of really great things going on in your world.
Thank you.
I would love to know if you have any advice for someone that might be thinking about starting a business.
I think the biggest advice is research. And make sure that very much like writing my book and staying narrow, making sure that you know what only you know. And I feel like that's really important, to not go too broad with it.
Yeah, that's a good message that you've mentioned twice now. So you are very passionate about that. And I agree with that. You can spread yourself so thin that the audience gets kind of watered down. So
I think sometimes you spread yourself you're good at a lot of things, not you, but just people are good at a lot of things, so they don't really know how to narrow it. And I think that was the secret to my success, and it's also really important because you can't do everything well.
Yeah, right. So you are extremely busy, and I know the topic of work-life balance is sometimes people frown upon that because there really is no balance, but do you have any morning routines or anything that is non-negotiable in your day that you like to do? Or?
That's a good question. I do. I walk every single day, and it's kind of a funny thing with my husband. He's like, "Do you want me to walk with you?" I'm like, "No." I need time. At that time, and I mean, it could be raining, sleeting, snowing. I am walking outside,
and so many health benefits, and mental.
It's definitely for health, but it's way more for my mental health. And that, like you said, that's a non-negotiable, and everybody knows it.
That's great.
And so,
is it a certain time of day every day, or just whenever you can?
Whenever I can, when I can get it. But I have a certain distance that I have to walk every single day.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good, because sometimes in the morning it's impossible to get, a walk-in or a workout or a meditation or whatever someone does. So it's good to not put that pressure on yourself. You're going to walk at some point during the day. You're going to get it in, but
I know I'm going to get it in.
No additional.
And I
pressure.
recommend in my book, and I have a meditation for during Rush, but I personally am like, okay, I don't have time to meditate. And I probably would if I made that a priority, but
yeah, right, for sure. So you talked about some stories that are going to be kind of talked about in the series and that you have in your book. Is there a story that you can share with us here today that kind of sticks out or comes to mind, or could be a success story or one that...
So this is, ironically, I wouldn't have a business if this were every client, but I had a client who I worked with. Her family was very involved in Greek life when they were in college, her parents, grandparents, aunts, uncles. And I started working with her, and she was going to go through Rush at, in the fall, and I was working with her in the summer. And she came to me and she said, I have decided I don't want to go through Rush. This is not what I want. I want to be involved in the theater at my school. And she said, the fact that I have the confidence to say that is because I worked with you preparing for Rush. And that is probably my biggest success story, which, again, a little ironic.
Right.
I wouldn't have a business if all my clients felt like that. And the parents were like, wow, okay, this is what makes her her. And so they were super excited to have paid me the money to prepare her for Rush, and she didn't go through Rush.
That's a huge testament to what you're doing for these young women every day.
I think, and that's all I'm trying to do. I mean, I always say, I'm not sitting here with a bow in my hair saying, ooh, everybody should be in the sorority.
Right.
I feel like you should have the tools to do whatever you want. If you want to be on the equestrian team, then you should have the coaches to do that and the tools to do it. But it's all about however you want to do it, but finding your people. So she found her people in the theater. So
that's great.
That's all that matters.
Yeah, you're helping them figure out if they even want to be in a sorority, which is huge, because if they do just go through the motions because their parents did or whatever, their sister, whatever, that's so huge.
Yeah,
so good work.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yes. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. This has been such a pleasure, and congratulations on all your success and all the exciting things that are going on in your world right now.
You too, and thank you for having me. This was such a treat. I love that I'm a female founder.
Yes, you are. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yes.
This is the Female Founder Show with host and entrepreneur Bridget Fitzpatrick, exclusively on ASBN. If you're a female founder and would like to help other female founders with your inspiring story, we would love to hear from you.